Hello, welcome to episode 6 of Hawthorncottagecraft. I'd like to welcome any new viewers and I'd like to welcome back any returning viewers. I'm Kate and you can find me on Instagram as Kate_Hawthorncottagecraft, on Ravelry as ARunnerBean. We have a podcast group on Ravelry called Hawthorncottagecraft Podcast, and Hawthorncottagecraft is all one word if you're looking for it. Please come over there, join the group, introduce yourselves, we'd love to meet you, and there you'll find show notes for all the episodes and any information that and links that I have. I also have an Etsy shop called Hawthorncottagecraft, and it's closed at the moment for Easter, but it will reopen again on Wednesday the 26th of April, and there will be an update with some new bags in there. Today is Monday the 17th of April, so we're recording a few days later due to the Easter weekend, and I was away for a few days. So I hope you have your cuppa now and your knitting, and we can have some chat and a bit of a catch up and talk a wee bit more about our knitting. On the last episode I said I would like to show my appreciation for the number of people who have subscribed to my channel. There are so many brilliant podcasts out there that I really appreciate the time that you've taken to sit and watch me ramble and chitter about my knitting. I have loved reading all your comments on the YouTube channel, and I've appreciated the fact that people have come over and joined the Ravelry Group as well and introduced themselves. It is brilliant getting to know all of you. So if you haven't actually joined the Ravelry Group and you've subscribed to the channel, please come over there and chat to us. We're a very friendly bunch. As a thanks for the participation, I said I would like to give away a couple of things. I have one of my project bags, this one. It's got a box bottom and it pops open and it sits like a bucket. I call them bucket bags. I like the poppers so that we don't get caught in zips. It's actually very good for colour work too, the way the poppers are sat. You can get 2 or 3 skeins of yarn in here. They're roomy. So this is the bucket bag that I'm offering up. And then, as most of you know, one of my favourite indie dyers is Fine Fish Yarns. And Terry, who is the very talented dyer behind that, kindly donated this skein of yarn for the giveaway for 500 subscribers. It's Goldfinch. It's from her Zion range. It's 70-20-10 merino silk cashmere, and it really does feel very squishy and luscious. So whoever, the prize winner who has got this, is in for a treat. I asked the question in the thread in the group, what is your favourite or your dream knitting destination? Mine is Shetland. There are other places I would love to visit too, but I think if I was only allowed to choose one, it would be Shetland for me. And actually, when I read through all the answers, the overwhelming response on the whole was Shetland or Scotland and Maine. So I'm willing to try any of those. Shetland's my dream. There were other places, a few people want to come here to Ireland, and actually it was really nice to see that a lot of people, their favourite destination is right where they're at. They have a corner of their house that as long as they're there knitting, they're happy, and that was lovely to read. There were 77 entries, and I did the random.org to pick the winner, and the winner was number 57. Karen Wazen, who is from Melbourne, Australia. So well done, Karen. You have got the bag and the skein of yarn. I want to read you her comment because I thought it was lovely. She said, as for destinations, I'm thinking somewhere cold. I'm always inspired by UK indie dyers, so somewhere closer to them. And if it could be somewhere fictional, I'd probably hang out with Miss Marple in St Mary Mead. I'm with you there, Karen. I love Miss Marple, particularly Joan Hickson. I know everybody has their favourite, but I like Joan Hickson. So I'm with you there. Congratulations, and I'll get that popped in the post to you in the next few days. Thank you again to all of you who have subscribed, and if you've watched but haven't subscribed, feel free to click the subscribe button, and then you can be kept updated on any new episodes when they come out. On to the knitting, and something controversial. Is this a finished object or a half-finished object? It has been cast off, the ends have been woven in, so technically it's finished. But I suppose unless he's willing to hop, it really is only half finished. Look! I have one sock complete for Peter. You know the saga of his socks. I knit a pair a long time ago that were an absolute disaster, and I've always promised I would knit him a proper pair of socks. And I have one complete. I am so chuffed. It fits really well. I'm actually going to insert a photograph here of him wearing this one and one of the older socks, so that you see the difference and how daft the clown sock looks on him compared to this. So I'll insert that here. I got this finished over the weekend. As I said, I was away for a few days. We were visiting my parents, and they live 2.5 hours or 2 hours away. And for my husband drove, which gave me the chance to knit. For about an hour and a half of the journey you can knit, but the last half hours on lovely twisty Irish roads, and my stomach wouldn't hold up to knitting on those, but it's great to get at least some done. So I was able to work on these. I was around here, I think it was starting down the foot. I had done the decreases the last time I was talking to you, and I got down almost to the toe when I was in the car. I didn't want to go on until I had checked that these fit, so we could try them on, and then I was able to work the toe. They really are a lovely fit on them. They are 68 stitches. I did a 1x1 twisted rib at the top, which I really like the look of, and I really enjoy knitting this particular rib. I've said before that I find the rib monotonous, but once I started, I don't know why, the 1x1 twisted, it doesn't seem to bother me as much. So I did the 1x1, then it's a plain vanilla sock. This yarn patterns itself, so it didn't need any pattern. I've worked on Magic Loop, a 2.5mm, which is a US 1, on my Addy circulars. Does anyone else find the Addy cable odd? I find it bends and holds the bend. Not overly fond on the cable, like the needle tips, but not particularly fond of the Addy cables. But that's an aside. I worked the Eye of Partridge heel, did the heel flap and gusset, which really fits him well. The instep is a lovely fit on him. It's not pulled at all. I find even in my socks I have a high instep, and it always looks slightly pulled. I really think I do need to increase a wee bit more on my own instep, but on his this worked perfectly well. It's a lovely neat fit on him, and did the rounded toe. So all in all, I'm really chuffed with it. And yesterday on the journey home, I had cast on just before I left my parents, and I worked a little on the rib on the way home, so about just over halfway up the rib of sock number 2. So there's a very strong chance he's going to get these socks. If anyone's interested, the colour I think has been discontinued, but it's the Opal Music Festival series, and it's their Rock Night, which is 9046. You may be able to still get it somewhere, but I do think that colour has been discontinued. He really likes the colour of it, and I'm really pleased that these socks are working out so well, because as you know, the last ones were disasters, and there's a chance he might have them within the next couple of months. and make no promises, but hopefully you'll get them soon. I think now that I've got the first one done, I feel more inspired to knit the second one and know that it's a good fit, because yesterday I was quite fired up to keep knitting it. On the journey to my parents, I also worked a bit on my interlude shawl, which I had cast on in March because I'd got to the toe of a sock and wanted Peter to try it on. I knew I couldn't continue with it, and this was a good project to work on in the car as well. And I'm surprised because normally for shawl knitting I wouldn't consider it a particularly portable knit. I know in size it's not particularly big, but usually if there's a pattern, I don't like to be, I can't concentrate in the car on pattern. But this shawl was perfect. It's the Interlude Shawl by Janino Callio, and you can find it on Ravelry. It's a paid for pattern there, but it's a very straightforward knit. It has garter stitch sections, lace sections, and I think it's knitting up really prettily. If you haven't tried lace knitting before, I would highly recommend this pattern because the lace section is very straightforward. Once you've started, well, it's totally easy to memorise, and you don't need to look at the pattern, which is why I was able to continue knitting in the car. And it knits up very, very quickly. So I've given this a wee bit of love over the last little while, and particularly over the weekend and on the journey. I'm knitting it on my 4mm, these are fixed circulars, the Carbons Knit Pro, one of my favourite sets of needles. And I'm using one of the other Irish dyers, Green Elephant yarn, Fiona, and it's her sock, 4-ply sock, merino nylon base, and it was her Worldwide Knitting Public Day colourway Summer Rain. And it's just, I think it'll be a lovely little summer shawl to throw over my shoulders on the cooler evenings, and it'll go really nice with most things. I think the colourway will work well with, for me, I live in jeans, so this will work really well with the jeans. So I'm really enjoying that knit, and that was a very easy knit to work at when I was travelling. The other knit that I started over the weekend is a test knit. If you follow Quilter Caroline on Ravelry and Instagram, you will know that she produces beautiful shawl patterns, and this is a test knit for her. I test knit her Seeds of Change last year, I think it was, her shawl, and I really enjoyed working on it. So when I was asked to do this one, I had no hesitation. I can't reveal an awful lot about it, obviously, because it's a test knit, but I can show you the yarn that I'm using. And again, this seems to be the Irish Indie Dyers episode. I'm using, this time, Eleonata. And I love Laura's colourways. Her colour sense is beautiful. And these particular skeins I picked up last summer in the Constant Knitter in Dublin. And I've been wanting to keep them for a really special project because it's very special yarn. It's 50/50 superwash merino and silk, and it's so soft. The colours that I am using, it's a 2-colour project. The colours I am using are Morel, better colour sense of the colour there. So this is Morel, and I'm teaming it up with Ghost Orchid, and they are going to be so pretty together. It's knitting up beautifully. Can't show you very much, but it is knitting up beautifully. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how this project takes shape. Its test knit is due to be completed mid-May, so I would assume very close to that there will be the release of the pattern. Keep an eye out on Caroline's pages, either Instagram or Ravelry, and you'll see updates about it there. But already I can assure you that you will enjoy this shawl as much as you've enjoyed the rest of her shawls. She's a very, very talented lady and makes very pretty but simple and stunning. They are beautiful shawls. I'm struggling with my words today. But just know that you will enjoy it. And that has been taking up a little bit of my time over the weekend. So on to the gingerbread sweater and our Cal, our knit along that is running in the group. The knit along runs until May the 31st, so there's still plenty of time to join in if you haven't joined it yet. It's a very quick knit. We're knitting the gingerbread sweater by Libby Johnson of Truly Myrtle Designs. It has been lovely seeing the progress that everyone is making. There are lots of photographs being posted on Instagram with the hashtag HCC Gingerbread Cal, and I'll put that across the bottom. So don't forget to tag your photographs so that we can see how you're getting on. And there's also a lot of chat in the thread on the Ravelry group. We have a few prizes just to remind you if you're taking part. We have one of my project bags as part of the grand prize with a pattern of your choice from Truly Myrtle Designs. Libby has very kindly donated 5 pattern prizes. So the grand prize has my bag and 1 pattern. There will be 4 other pattern prizes from her, and there will be a pattern prize from me, which is a pattern up to the value of $10 US from Ravelry. So there's a lot on offer, and if you haven't joined the group, please do so. That is the one and only rule for this knit along, is that you're a member of the Ravelry group. We have only one thread. There are no separate threads for finished objects. Everybody's chatting along and showing their progress, and all the prizes will be drawn from that thread. So if you haven't joined the group, please do so and join the Cal. You do have plenty of time. The sweater is knitting up very quickly and I'm really pleased with my progress so far. I'll just give you a reminder of what the finished object should look like. This is the pattern. And the last time I was talking to you, I was almost at the bottom border. I was getting caught by the needles. I was here. So since I've spoken to you, I have, very scrumpled up, I have my bottom border done. This was the part of the pattern that drew me to it. I just love the detail. And it actually gives the border, thickness isn't the right word, but even, it's funny, I was showing this to my mum at the weekend and she thought I'd double knit the base of it because it felt so thick and squishy. But it's just with the design and the 1x1 rib. So I've got that bit done and I'm now working on the sleeves. Just as a reminder before I talk about the sleeves, I am knitting this in my beloved Blacker Tamar. This is the label. It's a double knit and I'm using the Tala Water colourway, and it looks like this in the ball if you haven't already seen it. And I don't think I'll ever tire knitting with this yarn. It is so soft. I find it very soft next to skin. It doesn't bother me next to skin, and it is really a pleasure to work with. There's almost a slight halo off the yarn. I started the sleeves and I am so far, this isn't showing very well, down the sleeve. Now, I knit the smallest size in the sweater. It calls for quite a bit of ease, positive ease, and I don't like too much positive ease, so for me the smaller size meant that I had just the right amount of ease in the body. I think of only a couple of inches rather than, I think it's maybe up to 4 inches. That was great in the body. I'm not so sure about the sleeve. I have picked up the appropriate stitches for the smallest size, and I tried it on last night and it does fit. The top of it is quite neat. There's no ease at all in the top of it. I've still a few pattern repeats for the decrease, which I think will bring it down to much too tight on my arm. So I think I'm going to stop decreasing now and just knit straight down until I get to the cuff, and then we do the pattern again in the cuff. I think I will finish it. I had thought of frogging it, but I don't enjoy the picking up process. So I'm actually going to finish this sleeve, or at least get to the cuff, and then I'm going to make my decision. And I know it seems daft knitting on when I'm not sure, but I think I will finish this sleeve and try it on again and see if I'm happy. If I'm not happy with the fit, I will frog it back, and I think I'll do the second size for picking up, because I think it would still work. There's not that many more stitches that it'll make it look strange in the pickup. I think I should be able to fit it in. I'll have to wait and see. I'm hoping I don't have to frog. I'm really hoping. I don't like frogging and re-knitting. But it was quite neat on the shoulder. I certainly couldn't wear very many layers underneath. Although maybe with the soaking and blocking, it would give it a wee bit of stretch. We'll see. This could be where my non swatching could be my downfall. We'll see how it goes. I picked up all my stitches and I did the short rows. I'm quite fussy when it comes to how my short rows looks, and if you remember the Claude jumper that I knit a while ago and showed you, I took out the sleeves quite a number of times before I was happy, because with the short row and the turning and the turns, for me it leaves sometimes a bit of a gap, almost like holes. And for Claude I changed from it was a complete change of sleeve anyway, but what I did was Hannah Rose Yarns had recommended the Japanese short row, and I linked to videos of the Japanese short row in the show notes, and this Japanese short row closed that gap up for me really well, and I did consider using it for this, but I had already started with the recommended pattern, and I think just with the nature of this yarn it's okay. It doesn't show the gaps as much, so I left it, and I'm quite pleased with the look of it. I think maybe in other yarns it might not have looked as well, but it certainly I think is okay and is neat enough in this. But if you're worried about, depending on the yarn you've used, if you're worried about the gaps in your turns, you could change it to the Japanese short row. But I'm very happy with this. I'm just really hoping that the fit of the arm works out as well. I'm knitting it on, again, my carbons, the 4mm, which is the US 6, and 3.75, which is a US 5. And I'm working, obviously, my sleeves on magic loop. I did consider putting those on DPNs, but the magic loop is working out really well, and I've had no issues with ladders. So I'm happy with that. I'm really happy with the overall sweater. I'm looking forward to seeing the progress as we get down. I love the colour, and I think it'll be a lovely warm autumn winter sweater. It's quite funny, a lot of the sweaters that I've seen, a lot of people have picked a shade. If they haven't used black or Tama or whatever yarn they've used, we have a lot of blue sweaters. Blue must be the in colour this year. But go over to the group and go to Instagram and have a look at the hashtag, and you'll see everyone's progress. Keep going, we have a few weeks left, and as I said earlier, if you haven't started yet, there's plenty of time. It is a very, very fast knit, and a very well written pattern. It's a very easy pattern to follow, and I can't really recommend it highly enough. So that was really all my works in progress. As you know, I've been working on the Grand Central socks by Mina Phillip of Knitting Expat, and I've only added, I think, 2 rows just with everything else that's going on. I've been doing, I haven't mentioned it, but I've been doing a lot of sewing. I've quite an exciting project going on at the moment, and hopefully maybe in a few weeks I can tell you a wee bit about that one for sewing, but I can say nothing as of now. But it has meant that I feel that in the last couple of weeks, maybe I've got more knitting done than I think, but I don't feel as though I've done a lot of knitting. Making no sense here. Anyway, I only did about 2 rows of the Grand Central socks, and hopefully the next time I'll have more to show on that. The other project, excuse me while I reach down, the other project that I had wanted to get more done on, and I attempted to get more done on, is my Busta Beanie by Gudrun Johnson. It's the Shetland Wool Week pattern, and I have very little to show. I'm still working on the rib, and that is purely because of these. I like Knit Pro. They're very, I use a lot of Knit Pro. I do use Hiya Sharps, but I have a lot of projects on Knit Pro, and I love Knit Pro Zings. I do like Knit Pro Zings, but not their 16-inch circulars. These are horrible. No other way of putting it. It is a torture knitting with these because of the join. And I know a lot of people have mentioned the join in Knit Pro Zings or other Knit Pro needles before, and I have never ever had an issue. But there is a catch on the join, and because maybe it's the I'm working in normal 4-ply, but it catches every single stitch. So I've abandoned the project until my new Hiya Sharps 16-inch needles arrive in the post. I ordered those at the end of last week because I really can't knit this sweater with these. Hopefully by the next time I will have quite a lot of the Busta Beanie. Everyone I know has finished their Busta Beanie, and there are a few people like Emily Fibre Town who has knit more than one in the time that it has taken me to knit this. So hopefully the next time I'll have more to show. I actually, for the first time, I think once I take this project off these needles are going to the bin. That join is just so noticeable and very aggravating. So it is the only time now. I can't say the same for all my Knit Pro Zings. I love the rest that I have, but this particular set I don't, and I have said a lot of bad words as I've tried to knit with them, so it's time for them to go. That's all I've been working on. Hopefully I'll be back to my normal Friday schedule on Friday the 28th of April, and hopefully I'll have more to show you. Maybe I'll have 2 sleeves done in my gingerbread and a little bit of progress on the rest. But until then, enjoy your knitting. I am so pleased that you called in with me today and had a cuppa with me, and we'll see you very soon.